got to play Path of Exile 2 early at Gamescom, and this took away quite some of my worries about the game, and the huge amount of complexity I was expecting because of Path of Exile 1.
The passive skill tree. Yes, it's huge. There are over 1,500 nodes on there.
That skill tree will never not look intimidating, but the huge difference between PoE 1 and 2 is that you can super easy refund.
But if you do happen to make a choice you regret, you'll be able to respec any nodes you've taken by spending a little bit of gold.
Hey, you've just taken 3 to 4 nodes you weren't sure about, or you just randomly clicked something in the beginning because you're new to the game, that's fine. Just go to the refund vendor in town and refund all your points for a little bit of gold. Hell, you even just want to try out 1 or 2 new nodes and see if they're efficient, but they don't turn out to be. Straight up refund. You don't have to find specific refund items anymore. You can just do it like that, taking out a lot of my worries that I have been taking the wrong path or I did ruin my build. And don't forget, there's always the search bar in the top right corner. I'm playing minions, I enter minions, and I can just mix and match the nodes that kind of fit into the theme. At the end of the day, if I reach the end game, beat the campaign, and don't feel happy with what I have, refund it all and copy someone's path of building. Next topic would be skills. You're used from Path of Exile 1 to get items with all these sockets in it. I need a 2 green socket with 1 red socket connected, and then I can finally play my skill the way I want to with the respective support gems. Or you need at least gloves with 4 blue linked sockets to even remotely make your zombies get summoned and get the melee splash boost and all of that kind of together. Instead of being happy about your loot drops, it was like wrong links, don't care. Wrong links, don't care. Obviously, you could randomize the socket links and everything, still though. Now, Path of Exile 2 has that plenty cooler in my opinion. You essentially get skill gems from quests, vendors, or randomly in the world. I mean, I just opened that box, boom, skill gem popped out. You right click it and it pops open this menu where you can just choose any skill you want of the level skill gem you've gotten. Level 1 skill gem, level 1 skills, level 7 skill gem, level 7 skills. Can be used to upgrade what you have or just straight up learn new ones. If you then engrave the skill, you can just right click it and it will be put into your skill gem menu. That's it. You just learned a new skill. And if you now want to get support for that skill, you just simply have to find yourself support gems or get them from quests as well. And here it follows the same formula. Right click the support gem and you can go through your skills that you have already and straight up select something that would help it. In my case here, I wanted to have skeletal sniper minions. They can do a poison bomb from the top, and I can choose the multiple poison support skill. Supported skills can poison enemies an additional time, and supported skill has 35% less poison duration. And I'll need 5 dexterity to actually make this work. I do have 5 dexterity, but if you don't have that yet, you can just go into your passive skill tree, and there will be these passive stat nodes where you can choose which stat do you want, int, dex, or strength. And if you refund that later on, you can choose again int, dex, or strength. So whatever you need in that specific moment to fit the reality of the skills and supports you're playing. And we talked about gems, skills, passives, all that kind of stuff. But what about items? They'll have varying rarity.
Items in Path of Exile can be broken down into 4 rarity groups: normal, magic, rare, and unique.
And you can craft them up.
One of the things you're going to want to do as you play through the campaign is upgrade the items you find, and you can do that with currency items. An orb of transmutation will allow you to upgrade a normal item to a magic item with 1 mod. You can then apply an orb of augmentation to add a 2nd mod, then use a regal orb to add a 3rd mod, and upgrade it to a rare. Finally, you can use some exalted orbs to add more mods to your rare to a total of 6 mods.
The best thing about these systems is you can finally be excited no matter what you find. We mentioned it earlier, you don't need to look for sockets, links, anything anymore. I know OG PoE 1 folks are partially unhappy about this. For me personally, it makes it more fun to find stuff. Because otherwise, you look at it, not the route of sockets, links you're looking for, trash. The excitement of even checking loot has just straight up gone out of the window. Now you essentially set up your loot filter for the things you want, the things you need, and I'm just way more happy about the stuff that actually drops. Even if you do play without a loot filter, that will be the case. Now, how will the game structure look like? Pretty simple. Act 1, 2, and 3, 25 hours. That is for a new player that has no clue what's going on and has to immerse themselves in all the systems. Afterwards, the endgame promises hundreds of hours of gameplay. No worries, we'll get to the endgame in a second. Now, they had to swap development focus for the early access, and we're not getting Act 4, 5, 6 right now. We're essentially repeating Act 1, 2, 3 in a harder difficulty to get to that level 65 and into the endgame straight away. But during the early access, Act 4, 5, 6 will be added, and then you can again go from 1 to Act 6 into the endgame. And the endgame will have the mapping stage again, where you run through these realms and try to chart yourself towards bosses. One interesting change that has happened, though, is if you do die during this map that we just had there, this one will not be available anymore. So you can't be moving over to him over this path because you died. You could essentially go down and around or from the top and try to get there. Don't worry, there will be an overarching reset button in case you completely botched your map and you can't do anything anymore. And there's the grand reset, kind of the whole mapping thingy. They just confirmed that in a recent interview. And the endgame is filled with tons of bosses.
Had enough yet? Because there is still just one more thing. The most difficult content in Path of Exile 2. While mapping, you might come across this fortress that has emerged from underground, surrounded by an enormous maze riddled with danger. Is the maze preventing something from getting in, or something getting out? This fortress is of ancient origin, and its construction has similarities to the towers and tablets that you have been using on your journey through the endgame. It is clear from the entrance that there are 3 keys required to enter. Local factions are vying for access to the fortress in order to seize the power they believe will be inside. Each of the faction's leaders have managed to get their hands on one of the keys, so you will need to defeat them. Each faction is led by an Uber-Act boss. You can see one of them inhabiting the city, but in order to fight him, you will first need to defeat their 2 lieutenants in the adjacent zones. Be careful. If you fail against either of the lieutenants, or to kill the leader, they will move on, and you will need to find them again.
All in all, Path of Exile 2 will offer a vast, interesting journey with hundreds of skills that you can mix and match throughout all the different classes with the support gems, cast twice, all this kind of stuff. Trying to make your way towards those pinnacle bosses. And the new systems we just talked about, the way how gems, passives, and all that stuff works, will significantly lower the entry barrier. You won't have to actually get a guide before you can play the game. You won't have to watch YouTube videos before you can have some fun. You can actually install, jump in, and pretty much figure things out as you go. Because if you screw up, if you make mistakes, refund the whole thing and just do again. You don't just have to make a new character. I personally am so excited because of this now for Path of Exile 2. Before I was just mildly interested. What do you think? How are you feeling about these changes? Is it now too easy, or is it exactly the amount of complexity you're looking for? This channel will definitely have live streams, builds, guides, everything coming your way. So don't forget to subscribe for more amazing content. Have a great, fantastic day, and thanks for listening.